All right. Welcome back. Remember, in our lesson two, we discuss about the nature of the philosophy of education in the branches, right? We also talk about some of these philosophical theory like constructivisms and social learning principles that we can incorporate in order to bring about effective education in the life of students. And remember, we say the combination of social learning theory actually means people learning through observing one another. Then constructivism is the art of what bringing students together, right, and then give them a work so that they will learn through experience. So bringing it together, we can form a good, effective education, right? So in this objective three, we're going to be discussing about understanding the use of philosophical method in studying educational data. Yes, actually, I would like to say that philosophical method provides a rigorous approach. It actually provides a rigorous approach to examine educational data and understanding phenomena, right? So, with the help of philosophical method, we can examine educational data easily and understand the phenomena behind them. So, right, philosophical method one, that is critical examination. Critical examination. Critical examination. Now, critical examination require questioning assumptions and exploring underlying meaning. The ability to critically require it actually require questioning, right? Questioning assumptions and you explore underlying meaning. For example, let's say educators can critically analyze educational research findings, looking for biases, funding sources, or social political context that could influence outcome. So critical examination has to do with what require questioning assumptions and you explore the underlying what we call meaning. So number two, we have the dialectic method, which has to do. This method involves engaging in dialogue, right? You engage in a dialogue to explore different viewpoint. An example is a classroom discussion where students explore multiple kind of historical perspective on civil rights, allowing them to understand the evolutions of social justice concept over time. All right, so that is it for dialectic method. When it actually involves, as I say, involves engaging in dialogue in a conversation to explore different viewpoint. You see an example in a classroom discussion where students explore multiple perspectives, historical perspectives on civil rights, which actually allow them to understand the evolution of social justice concept over time. So one is phenomenology, which we say this approach focused on life experience. Actually, focus on life experience. For example, educators can use phenomenological methods to gather qualitative data. There's difference between quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative data are actually, they are data that can be counted, right? While qualitatives, they deal with, for example, colors, age, gender. All those are what are qualitative data in picture. So, all right, so let's say qualitative data on how students perceive their what their educational experience. This actually lead to insight into students' engagement and challenges faced within the what within the classroom. So you focus on phenomenology. Actually, it focus on life experience, as we can see, right? Okay. Now, application to educational research. How can we apply this to educational research? Very important. Now, by way of applying philosophical method, educators or instructor can actually develop a more nuanced understanding of educational research finding. For instance, let's say an educator studying the impact of school discipline. For example, an educator who study the impact of school discipline policy may combine data analysis, can you see, in the case of phenomenology, can combine data analysis with critical examination of moral consequences. Are you seeing it? And broader societal implications, which will actually lead to more compassionate and informed policy. So, with life experience, educator can actually use application package like data analysis to actually evaluate or check or do a critical examination of moral consequences and broader societal implications, right? Okay, now next we're going to be talking about qualitative study. Qualitative study involve interview with students, right, about their experience. It can actually lead to rich insight into educational effectiveness. You interview the student uh, about their experiences on learning. You interview them about their experiences and learning, which can actually was supply us with rich information, right? Uh, into educational effectiveness, thus enhancing our curricular and teaching practice. So when you engage with the student, you conversate, you engage into dialectic method, which is dialogue. You get to what understand the student difficulties, and you're able to develop a curriculum that will best fit or that will actually proffer a solution to their difficulties in learning, right? In some, actually, philosophical methods broaden the analytical lens educators can use, right, to assess educational data comprehensively. So with education philosophical method, you can actually serve as a lens. Lens, there are things that give you the ability to capture an image. So with philosophical methods, they are just like a lens that can help us to see the problems or the weaknesses, uh, why education is not effective, and then through there we can now formulate or develop policy that could actually what make or brings about effective education in our society. So in the objective for we are going to be talking about critical appraisals of contribution made by prominent educational thinkers. What are the appraisal made by some of them? We have John Dewey. Actually, is one of the good educational thinker. This man he emphasized experiential learning. He actually emphasized experiential learning, right? And he did justice to that. Actually emphasized experiential learning, where education is rooted in real life experience. Can you see real life experience? Actually, this man contribution highlight the importance. Um, actually, highlight the importance learning through doing. It's kind of pragmatism in nature, pragmatic in nature. It's an advocate of real life experience learning, doing practicals, right? A critical appraiser might explore how his visions has influenced progressive educational movement and contemporary pedagogical practices. Now, the second person is Paul, Paulo. Yes, actually, Paulo Freire. Now, Paulo Freire is a critical pedagogue which actually emphasizes, so is an advocate of dialogue, consciousness rising, and social justice. Can you see this man actually he critiques on traditional banking models of education. He actually advocates for a more engaging student-centered approach. Analysis of his work lead to discussion on the relevance of critical pedagogue in addressing what current systemic inequalities in education. Then the third person in the list, but not the least, is Maria Montessori. Maria Montessori. Now, Maria Montessori approach to education, she actually emphasized the importance of independence and hands-on learning. The importance that the child need to be what independent in learning. That the child must know a thing. Yes, very important. And hands-on learning, practicals as well. Now, by appraising an idea, can you see that these people, as a result, they are very good. They can analyze philosophical ideology, philosophical thoughts, philosophical methods. They were able to bring a study method or an educational policy. Now, by our appraisals, a student can explore alternative methods in early childhood education and the significance of prepared environment, which actually foster children autonomy, right? Okay, we stop here, and then the next lesson we talk about comparison of African and Western thinkers. Thank you so much.